Right, you lot, and the 2022-2023 season is so unpredictable. I mean, who would have seen West Ham being in a relegation battle? Who would have saw Fulham pushing for Europe? And who would have seen Liverpool and Chelsea being completely out the top four race while Newcastle is closer to the title? What a mad season. Now, I did a Premier League prediction on the main channel actually back in August. I'm quite scared to watch that back. I think I said something like Man United would get 7th. I think I put Newcastle 9th. I think I said Arsenal wouldn't finish in the top 4. I'm really scared to watch that. So what I'm going to do is, now we've seen the first half of this season and got a gist of what's going on, I'm going to do an updated prediction. I'm going to predict all 20 spots from 20th up to 1st, and we're going to see how far off I'm going to be. And we'll look back at this. I'll look back at my original one in May, but this one hopefully will be more accurate. It'll be a bit embarrassing if it isn't. Right, 20th I have put Southampton. I'm sorry, Southampton. You do have some interesting young players. You've got that centre-back guy that everyone was talking about in the first half, but Nathan Jones is the wrong man for the job. He's a championship-style manager, and you've got a championship-style squad. You're uninspiring as hell. I'm sorry. I think you should have sacked Hassan Hussel, but you should have got someone like Sean Dyche or Sam Allardyce, because bloody hell, Nathan Jones is the wrong decision. 19th is Nottingham Forest, a team surely they're going to gel eventually, and I know you've had a few good results. You beat Liverpool, you got a draw with Chelsea recently. You also lost 7-0 at the Etihad, so they balance each other out. You've brought in way too many signings, with the majority being flops. Your star player, Jesse Lingard, has been an absolute shambles. As much as I like Steve Cooper as a manager, I think you could put Sir Alex Ferguson in charge of these lot and he wouldn't get them out the relegation zone. You've got no chance. 18th was difficult. There was a couple candidates here, but I went for Everton, which I know you're going to call me biased, right? But Everton are a mess. Fat Frank is just waiting for the inevitable. He's a mediocre manager at best, who's got a few alright results. The big issue with Everton is they don't have a focal point. They don't have a star man. They don't have someone who's gonna bag them goal season. Neil Maupay is a poor striker. And I mean, I know Richarlison is overrated and he's been pretty poor at Spurs, but he got goals for Everton. But Everton are just filled with overrated talents like Anthony Gordon. And the basis of your team has been poor. Yeah, Connor Cody and James Tarkowski have been good at the back, but you've still leaked goals. You conceded 4 to Brighton, the team known for not scoring goals. So I'm sorry, Everton, you're going down. 17th with Bournemouth. Now you might think I'm out of my mind by thinking Bournemouth can stay up, but I just see a bit of a magic escape story. I think it'll be very tight, but I think on the last day Bournemouth are going to do so. Sticking with Gary O'Neill might turn out to be a mistake. I mean, it was a lovely little fairy tale. You don't want to hurt the man's feelings, but he's not a proper manager. But I think Bournemouth will just about escape. I know they've had poor form since they come back, but they've had difficult games as well. Like, they've had to play Chelsea and United, top 6 teams, so difficult. 16th, I put Leeds United. Jesse March, it always feels like he's 2 games away from the sack, but no, I think they'll do enough. Leeds have been an annoying team this season because they've won at Anfield and Stamford Bridge. But they've also lost games that they shouldn't have, and that's the thing with Leeds. They've been inconsistent, but I think they will just about do enough to stay up. 15th, I've gone for Wolves. You know how I feel about Wolves. I find them a boring, uninspiring team, but Lopetegui, I think, is a very good manager and a good appointment for Wolves. I think he'll grind out enough results and get enough draws that they will fall out of this relegation battle. I think Wolves have too much talent to go down, and I know no one's too big to go down, but the likes of, Pedro Neto, the likes of Podence, Ruben Neves, these players should be enough. I mean, Diego Costa was a mistake, but Wolves surely have to put it together. I mean, how have Wolves fallen off a cliff so much? They were in top 6 a couple seasons ago. It's scary to see the negative trajectory of them. Nuno Espirito Santo was clearly a miracle worker. They probably should have brought him back, really. 14th, I've gone for Crystal Palace. Palace are having a decent season under, Patrick Vieira. And I think, they're just there. Crystal Palace, they're not great, they're not bad, they're not doing the miracles that Fulham, Brighton and Brentford are doing, but they're nowhere near as bad. They're just mid-table, which is why I put them 14th. I think they'll continue to have a few decent results. I think they'll get their obligatory win or draw against Man City in the second half, and yeah, just a bit meh. 13th, I've gone for West Ham. David Moyes, people talk about sacking him, is ridiculous to me. I mean, who else could do what David Moyes has done, getting West Ham to European semi-finals? I mean, this is West Ham we're talking about. Like, he's not exactly managing Manchester City, is he? And I know they've been poor this season. I think Moyes, some of his tactics aren't great. I think sometimes he's a bit too much, like, he trusts too much in the players who've done it for him in the past and doesn't give the new signings enough of a chance, for me. But West Ham have to turn it around, whether Moyes finishes the season or not. I think they'll get 13 by the end. 12th, I've gone for Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa are the most overrated team in the Premier League, but I think Unai Emery is a top 5 manager in this league. Unai Emery's exciting attacking style of football will get them quite high up the table. I don't think they'll get into the top 10, because I do think Aston Villa are overrated. A lot of their players are not as good as people playing, but hopefully when they get Costa back, they should be alright. I mean, Tyrone Mings is always going to let a goal in. 11th, I have gone for Brentford. Brentford have been a weird team this season. They lost 5-1 and 4-0 to Aston Villa and Newcastle. They've also beaten 3 of the traditional top 6, 2 of them being major batterings, and the other one they won away to Man City. I think their home form is great, and they should win most home games. And away they'll be just good enough. Coming into the top 10 now, 10th, I've gone for Leicester City. I know they had a ropey start with James Maddison being the only shining light, but they have regained some form. Leicester are very good at attacking, but the defence lacks, and I think, they'll get 10th by the end. They'll do quite well. But I think they will have like a 6 or 7-0 battering at some point in this season. 9th, I've gone for Chelsea. Now, you may feel I'm out of my mind, because in the last video I did a whole piece defending Graham Potter, because I think the reactionariness that people are reacting when... I think Potter took the wrong job. I think Chelsea are a mess of a team. It's not Potter's fault. But this Chelsea team have lost too many games now, and if they're probably most likely going to lose at the Etihad tomorrow, and I just don't see, they've got Liverpool coming up in the coming weeks at Anfield, and at Anfield I would expect us to beat Chelsea, so, difficult run of fixtures coming up. I just don't think it's going to work for Chelsea. I see a really bad season for them. 8th, I've gone for Brighton. I absolutely love this Brighton team. What the Brighton model, the way they oversell players and then bring in new ones, every time they get a big player, Yves Bissouma and Cucurella were it last season, they were gone the next summer. Trossard and McAllister, it for this season. Trossard's contract's up in the summer, so he's probably going to be going. But they get great money for, big names, and it's an incredible business strategy. And the way they've been playing is so exciting. They've had some great results, Brighton. They beat Man United in the opening day. They drew at Anfield. I think they're going to get 8th. 7th, I'm going for Fulham. There always tends to be a promoted team that will go up and just do a madness. I mean, Leeds got 9th in the Premier League. Sheffield United got 7th. And I see Fulham being this year's answer to that. I think they will get the Conference League. As man, I think Fulham are going to get to a European position. But I genuinely believe that. I think Chelsea are going to fall off. Right now, my top 6. 6th place, I'm gone for Tottenham. I'm sorry, Tottenham. I know Antonio Conte can shit out results, but you've been so dull to watch. I just don't think it's happening. Heung-min Son and Harry Kane can have a poor second half of the season, I think. Yeah. Alright, the big question. Now, I think most people see Arsenal and City as the top two, and Newcastle, Man United and Liverpool fighting for third and fourth. I mean, you can put Tottenham in that race, but I don't think they're there. Right? Fifth, I've gone for Man United. Now, Man United, right, they've been great this season, and they've shocked a lot of people. I think Ten Hag has done a great job, but you need to remember that they have not been great in big games. They still got embarrassed by Brentford this season. They still got embarrassed by Man City, you know. I know they beat Arsenal, which was a great result, but I think the thing is, right, the 3 games Man United have played since they've been back are Wolves, Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. That shows nothing. If Man United can get more than 2 points between... Could they play, I think it's... who have they got? They've got like an easy team, like a Leeds or something, I think it is. And then they have to play Man City and Arsenal in back-to-back game. If they get 2 or more points out of that, I think they can get top 4, but I don't think they have it in them. 4 or 5 put Liverpool, and Liverpool have been frustrating this season. We've had great results. We won against Man City at home, of course. Beat Tottenham. But then, of course, we've also lost to Nottingham Forest, Leeds and Brentford. The latter being utterly embarrassing. So, I don't know what Liverpool are going to show up, but I think it will come together. I think with the return of Luis Diaz and Diego Jota along with Cody Gakpo. I mean, if we get a midfielder, I think we get top 4. We need to sign a midfielder, but we know we won't. But I think we will get 4. Third is Newcastle. I know you're going to call me mental for thinking Newcastle can get to the top 4, but the thing is, Newcastle are so good defensively, they don't lose. The only game they lost was that ridiculous game against Liverpool, where they lost like in the 98th minute because of Fabio Carvalho's header. Like, how unlucky is that, right? They've only lost that game, and then, yeah, they've drew a few games. You know, they've had 2 draws on the bounce, but they're a great defence team. I don't see them losing a lot. I think they'll get the points, and I don't see them dropping out. I think they're going to get third. Alright, now the big reveal. Who do I think is getting set? Oh, I think Man City are going to win. I really wanted to say Arsenal win the league. And I've been really back and forth on this. As a Liverpool fan, part of me really wants to see Arsenal win it. And part of me just can't be asked of the Arsenal fans. And it's like, oh, if Man City win it again. Because I don't really care if Man City win the Premier League. They've already done it like 10 times. Like, it's not really an achievement. I mean, it is, but like, it doesn't mean as much. If Man City win the Champions League, however, that's a different story, and I've got to worry for that this season. But I think Arsenal are gonna just not have it takes. I know how ruthless Man City can be in these final months. I think Arsenal are gonna lose the league on a point in similar fashion to Liverpool, and I can laugh at them. If we get top 4, so yeah, that's my prediction. Now, if you think I'm totally wrong, if you think that Southampton are going to win the Premier League or Man City are going to get relegated, please give me an argument why that's going to happen in the comments, because there's a few controversial ones in there. I don't think anyone thinks Chelsea are going to get 9th or Fulham are going to get the Conference League spot, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye, lot.